Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. This is the show that's going to help you become your best self. And today we are talking about how to increase vulnerability. But before we jump into that topic, as always, I want to invite you to come and say hi to me on Instagram. More and more people are doing that. I so appreciate it. I love it, you guys. So if you just come and look me up. I'm at Sabrina Joy Peroso, and I would love to hear from you. Just say hey, hi, and hello to me, or if you have any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, feedback, whatever you want to tell me, I am here to receive it. I would love to get to know you and become friends online. If you prefer to send me an email, you are welcome to do that at realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com. All of that information on how to contact me is down in the show notes, so I cannot wait to hear from you all. But again, what we're talking about today is how to increase vulnerability. So let's just get into it. One of my goals in life, just in general, not just because if you're listening to this podcast in real time when it drops, we're now in the new year of 2022. And, a lot of people are talking about goals, but that has nothing to do with the new year. It's just one of my goals in life. And I think it's because I was reflecting on the goals I have for my life, is to convince as many people as possible that being vulnerable is a good thing. It's a good thing, 110%. It's one of the best things. It's helpful to you because, you are allowing yourself to fully feel your response to what's going on around you through your emotions. You are just letting it in. You are honoring your emotions, something I talk about often here on the show, and you are accepting them. And it's not that you are reacting to them necessarily or doing anything with them. You're just allowing them to come when they come and then go when they go. You're not holding on desperately to some and really trying to obsess about some that come through. No, you're allowing them to come through you. And it's amazing, and you are also allowing yourself to be seen for who you really are, which is amazing. And I think that part, thinking about being vulnerable, it allows yourself to be seen for who you really are, is the biggest draw for me to be more vulnerable, because I do want to be truly seen for who I am. And I am full of failures and mistakes and problems, but I'm also full of light and encouragement and excitement and love and care. And I want to be seen for all of those things. I don't think that we need to be seen for just the good parts. It's kind of like social media where people talk about how you only see people's highlights, the good parts of their life, even though it's kind of like a revolution online where more and more people are trying to show the harder sides, the darker sides, the not so fun sides, which I think is fantastic. That again, you leaning into your vulnerability. And I think it is amazing. And I'm trying to shout it to the rooftops, obviously here on my Instagram, anywhere, soon to come, in a newsletter, on my website, all of these things, because it's important, and by allowing yourself to be seen, this can help, being more vulnerable, increasing your vulnerability can help with self-acceptance, because you're just allowing it all to be seen, exposed, and you're just there, and you're like, okay, well, everyone's going to see it. I might as well just accept who I am and move on with life. And it'll also help with self-confidence, because you're accepting who you are and you're like, okay, well, this is who I am and I feel good about that. And I'm really good at these things, and these other things I struggle with, but that's okay because I am continuously working on it. It's just amazing. So you being vulnerable can also not only just help yourself, but can help others, because you're setting an example that it's okay to be this way, to essentially be real, right? To be authentic, to be who you truly are, not who you are when you put your mask on to pretend to be someone else, not who you are to impress people, not who you are when you are leaning into your tendency to people please. No, you're just being who you are. And believe me, I struggle with a lot of those things and have in the past and still some today. So it's not as though I am chastising or shaming anyone for struggling with those things. That's totally fine. you can be vulnerable and be authentic to who you are while still struggling with those things and many other things. Because as long as you are trying to work on those things, you're trying to make a change, then you're on the right track and it's fine. It's going to be fine. So, but to expand on what it means to be vulnerable, because I recently read an article. It was talking about how, sometimes people will mistake being open about with being vulnerable, and it's how it's not the same thing. And I found that to be very interesting because, a lot of people would compare being vulnerable to being open, and I kind of see that, like, you're being open and honest about what's like who you are and what you're about. But this article is talking about how when you're claiming that you're super open, it means that you are open to different ideas and you're open to change and you're open to trying something new, which is great. But when you're talking about openness, it's because you are in control of that. So it's a lot easier, right? When you're open to things, when you're open to, trying these new things, you are in charge, and it's a lot easier to take on new things and, slip into these different identities when you're in control, when you're in charge. But with being vulnerable, like you're obviously in charge of making that decision, but you're not in charge of how people are going to respond. And you're not in charge of, how people are going to view you. And you're not even generally in charge of what emotions will flow in and out, because it's going to depend on what is happening around you and what the trigger is and so many things, right? And so I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out because I found that very interesting. Like, yeah, when you're open to stuff, you're like, you're in control of it. You're like, okay, I got this. I can do this. Like, I can just control the whole situation here. But being vulnerable, it's just like, it can get messy in a good way, but it can get messy. But also, I heard vulnerability described in one of the best ways ever. And I wanted to share with you because, again, I love research. I love reading other people's research and articles about the things that I talk to you here about. And they described it as vulnerability is a sacrifice of comfort. A sacrifice of comfort. You are giving up comfort. You are no longer with comfort. It is separated from you. And, this couldn't be more true. Like, it really can't. And I know that this will scare a lot of people into maybe not being vulnerable, maybe not leaning into vulnerability, maybe not, deciding like, it's not going to be one of my goals for this year. But I think it should. I don't think that should scare you. It's just the truth, right? When you are truly vulnerable, you are not hiding in your comforts, right? You are not always taking the easy road because you're just allowing it all to be seen, right? You are not avoiding the hard things in life for the sake of not wanting to fail or not be liked as much. Not wanting to fail and to, not be liked as much and accepted as much into groups and with people. It can be hard. Those are things that I struggle with too, of course. But you're not doing those things when you're truly leaning into vulnerability. And again, it's not like an all or nothing kind of thing. You're in and out, you're up and down. That's how real life is. That's how emotions are. That's how we should work. So don't feel like you have to be 110% vulnerable all the time. There's going to be times where you retreat back a little bit because you're trying to figure out how you can be vulnerable in those states, in those experiences. So that's totally okay. But, it definitely is a sacrifice of comfort. You are stepping outside your comfort zone and taking chances and allowing yourself to be caught in the line of fire with others that may not agree with your point of view. Like a lot, a lot. Or the way that you live your life. Even if you feel like you're living your life easy breezy with no drama, like super simple, no trouble. There's always someone out there that wants to push back, right? They just want to push buttons for the fun of it. Even if they agree with the way that you live, they just want to press in on you because it's fun for them. But you're also opening yourself up to rejection or acceptance. See, that's the important part. I named all of these really hard things. You're not taking the easy road. You're allowing yourself to be seen as a failure. making mistakes, not hiding in your comforts, open to rejection, but you could also be open to acceptance. You could also be open to people respecting you even more. You could also be opening yourself up to love and consideration and all of these positive things. It's not just this negative path. It's not just you know, just deciding that, okay, well, I'm going to be vulnerable now. And that means I'm going to just be sitting alone, just crying to myself, eating junk food on the couch alone because this is hard and no one likes me. People aren't going to like you. People already don't like you. I can assure you of that, already. No matter how amazing you are, no matter how much of a people pleaser that you are, believe me, I was a people pleaser for so long. Even still now, I'm struggling with it a little bit. Absolutely. There were still people that didn't like me. I didn't get it. I was confused. What is wrong? I was doing everything. I felt perfect, even though perfect doesn't exist. Except for with God, it's just, you're there's still going to be people that don't like you, right? And that should trigger something like, okay, no matter what I'm doing, people aren't going to like me. A lot of people will, but a lot of people won't. So I might as well just be who I truly am because it's just easier than having to put on the mask every day and people not like me. Wow, why don't I just be myself? And then people still won't like you. And I'm sure the question that immediately pops up is, well, more people won't like me, Sabrina, if I am who I am, if I am vulnerable, if I am authentic. Maybe, but that's probably because the way that you are pretending to be and cater to these people is really stroking their ego and making them feel good. And once you're no longer doing that, you no longer serve a purpose to them and they have to go find someone else to do it because they lack the self-compassion, the self-love, the self-acceptance. They lack tapping into and understanding what their true worth is. They are constantly finding it somewhere else. So I wouldn't worry about that. It's hard not to. I get that. But I would try not to worry about it. But, being vulnerable, it can be hard at times, like really hard, like super difficult. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 15. But it's worth it because of the true freedom you feel exposing yourself emotionally. There is freedom in being vulnerable. There's freedom in being who you are and leaning into that. It feels really, really good. I promise you. You just have to continue to move forward in that direction. You'll feel better each and every moment that passes that you are practicing that. And yes, again, being vulnerable can be scary. But as always, something that I share with you, I encourage you to take it day by day, right? You don't have to, it's not black or white, it's not all or nothing. Take it day by day in your approach of incorporating it into your life. So you just add a little bit here, there, and everywhere. And then again, you might take a step back where you're like, oh no, that's too much. And then you find the courage to go through with that. And then it's even more and more and more. And then maybe another step back, right? It's not going to be perfect. We don't want it to be perfect. How do we grow and learn and better understand ourselves if it's perfect, right? So this brings me to the portion of the show where I want to give you some tips. I want to share some helpful pieces that will help you increase your vulnerability. So here are 5 ways you can increase vulnerability in your life. Only 5 today. The first one is understand that you are worthy of being accepted as you are. This is something I struggle with even today. If you go look on my Instagram story as well, if it's still there, it probably isn't. I need to share it again. I was even talking about this today and how, I got into like a little argument and it had me questioning my worth and being accepted by others and loved and cared for. And it really threw me down a spiral, but I just let the emotions flow. I let them come out. I cried a little bit. It was fine. But I didn't just focus hard on anything particular that I was feeling. And I felt the downward spiral come, but I also integrated so many positive things, so many things that I was grateful for, and it helped to break it up and it helped to slow it down. And then eventually it just went away. Like I feel like within an hour, I was just like, okay, we went through this. Why did we feel this way? How did we, get ourselves out of that pit of despair and moving forward, and it was fine. And that's just an example of honoring your emotions, accepting how you're feeling, being authentic, and then moving on, letting go, and not allowing, these little like tiffs and problems and arguments and things that people say to us, not letting those things equate to our worth, right? You have to understand that you are worthy of being accepted as who you are, despite what emotions you're having, despite what happened to you in the past or what you've done, the mistakes and failures that you've made. It's fine. It's all fine because we've all gone through it, whether people are sharing it openly and honestly or not. So, to increase your own vulnerability, you have to understand that you are worthy of being accepted as you are, no matter what that looks like, because that is afforded to everyone. We just have to understand it and believe it. The second one is to start expressing your wants and needs to others. This is really hard for me. Expressing what I want and what I need from other people, even my husband, is tough because I don't want to burden people. And if you want to learn more about burdening people, I encourage you. There, a couple episodes back, I talked about how we're not burdens to other people, but it can be hard to believe that. So if you need more of like a encouragement on that, please go back into the archives and listen to that. I think it was only like within the last 6 or 7 episodes. But we have to start expressing our wants and needs to others and know that we're not a burden, especially if there are things that we are entitled to, like someone being nice to us or someone showing us respect, or if you're in a committed relationship, like love and trust and these things, right? You have to ask them. You have to tell them. You have to have these open, like thorough communications with the people in your life. And, you're like, I need you to not be doing 20 things when we're having a conversation that's really important to me. I need direct eye contact. I tell that to my husband all the time, especially when I'm like super upset. I'm like, hey, can you just stop doing what you're doing and just look me in the eye while I talk to you? And it works. It helps. It makes me feel seen. It makes me feel understood. It makes me feel like he's actually focused on what I'm saying in that moment. Right? And so it's important. You need to start expressing what you want, what you need. And, maybe you'll get shot down sometimes, and maybe other times you'll be more respected and accepted. Or they'll be like, oh, I don't understand. Can you please tell me more about these wants and needs? And understand that it is your right to ask for these things and to share them with other people, right? And if that doesn't convince you, just think about, I'm sure everyone has at least one person in their life. Think about someone in your life that does this on the regular and how easy it is for them. It's easy. So it could be easy for you too, right? The more that you do it, baby steps. Number 3 is to ask for help when you need it. So this is kind of similar to the second one, but me asking for help, that is so hard. That is so difficult for me, right? Even when help is offered to me, it's really difficult for me to accept it because I just feel this pride and this ego tearing me down and really trying to convince me that, yeah, you don't need anyone's help. You need to do it on your own so that people will respect you. And it's not true, right? It's not true. We can still be respected and loved and cared for, and still ask for help. We're really like being vulnerable and exposing ourselves and allowing ourselves to be seen and be like, I don't know how to do everything. And I'm okay with that, right? And it's okay. And that's why everyone has different talents and abilities in the world so that we could all work together in a desired harmony. Not always harmony, but you know what I mean. And that's why it's important to ask people for help because someone else will know how to do it. Someone else will be able to teach you how to do it maybe, or just be there for you to actually bless and love on them by allowing them to show you their amazing giftings and talents and abilities, right? If someone came to me and they're like, can you please give me a talk about like stress management? I would be like, yes, absolutely. They're like, I don't understand it or I don't know how to describe it to people. Great, awesome. I would love to help you with that. And then in turn, I could be like, hey, can you come and talk to people about phishing scams on the internet because it drives me crazy. People click links. You don't click all the links in emails that you don't recognize. Anyway, it's just like having that back and forth, and it can really hurt your pride when you have to ask for help, especially if you're new to it. I know it's really hard, but you start with like little things that you ask for help with, and it gets easier to ask for big things. And yeah, you're going to encounter some experiences where you're going to get made fun of. Someone's going to talk down to you. Someone's going to be condescending that you have to ask for help, especially if you've exhibited signs of like not wanting to ask for help and making that very clear to people in your life. But you just have to be stronger and harden your exterior a little bit to take those hits, right? Because you'll be stronger for it. And who cares what they say? Like, if they're going to make you feel bad about it, okay. Maybe find someone else that can help you. If there's no one else that can help you, you will come through that experience so much stronger because you'll be able to get through it with that person that's being a jerk on purpose. Number 4, become comfortable with both acceptance and rejection. You will be both accepted and rejected the more vulnerable that you are to other people. The more that you expose yourself, the more that you allow yourself to be seen with all the good, all the mediocre, all the bad, right? Mediocre, middle, I don't mean in a negative way, but just seeing all the things. You have to become comfortable, and I'm still trying to get there. Become comfortable with being accepted and someone accepting you for who you are and how you live your life and do your work and, do this, that, and the other, parent or in a relationship or whatever. But also being rejected because they don't like that or they don't accept that or they think you're doing it wrong when you know that you're doing it right for you, right? Because we all need to live our life in a way that we live it best for us, not other people, right? But some people just don't get that because they think it just needs to be one way, like their way or the highway, right? But there's going to be those people. And generally, there'll be more people accepting than rejecting. And if we allow rejection to continually trip us up, we will never become or be who we're truly meant to be because we're always trying to conform to what other people want. And there's always going to be multiple people and, events in our life that cause us to change and mold and wear a different mask to please someone else in a different way. It's never going to be like this like continual, like stagnant person that we need to be. No, we will have to evolve and change to please everyone else when we can just be who we are. And that will still not be stagnant. It'll change and grow as time goes on, but it'll just continue to grow into who you are and what you're meant to be, as opposed to trying to adapt to what these people say that they want when they really don't know what they want, right? So you will be accepted. You will also be rejected. Those rejections can definitely give you good feedback and understanding of what people don't like in general, or maybe what you do need to work on, or maybe just the acknowledgement of someone else's opinion and they had to share it with you, and that's all it is. And then letting it go, which is a good exercise to go through. Okay, number 5, which is the last one. Be honest about how you feel to others and yourself. So it's kind of similar to, expressing your wants and your needs, but really it's just being honest about how you feel about things. So if someone asks you how you feel about something, tell them, oh, I don't feel good about it. Like, because, if someone asks you about something and you're like, oh, well, what do you think? Right? And they tell you how they think, or how they think. And so you just adapt your answer to mirror theirs so that you don't rock the boat, so you don't cause any type of drama. There is nothing. You just want everything to be peaceful. You just want everything to be calm. But if that's not truly how you feel, then you need to voice that, right? In a nice way, in a respectful way. And don't cower to what someone else says or thinks. Like, they aren't necessarily superior to you. And even if they are superior to you in a way of like they are your manager, your boss, or something like that, there's still a respectful way to share what you think and how you feel. Or to your spouse, or to a friend, or a family member, or whatever it is. You need to be honest about how you feel to other people. That, again, is being more vulnerable. Again, exposing yourself, opening yourself up, really being honest and true to who you are and how you feel, and sharing those differing feelings and thoughts can actually create a conversation with someone else that hasn't the opposing thought or feeling, and learning from each other. And maybe you do change your mind because they teach you something, or vice versa. They change their mind because you have taught them something different based upon your reasons why, if you have a conversation about it. It's amazing. That's what I feel like we're meant to be doing in the world, but we're not. We're just thinking that we have to pick a side and that's it. But that's not true. So you need to be honest about how you feel and share that with others. But you also need to be honest with yourself. A lot of times we aren't honest with ourselves. We think that we're okay. We think that we'll be able to get through these hard times alone. We think that our situation will change if we don't do anything, or if we only do this one thing, and we know it's not. We need to be honest with ourselves of what actually needs to happen in our lives and what doesn't, and what needs to change and what needs to end and what needs to begin, and where you need to go and who you need to be involved with, whether romantically or not, at work, with friends, family members. So it's important to be honest with yourself, because if you aren't, then you definitely will lead yourself astray. You will waste your time, and you won't become your best self, because you will lead yourself away from the trail that would be that journey, because you're not just being honest, doing what you need to do to set yourself free from things or to engage in things and to move forward. So I just encourage you to do that. It's so super important. But that's all I have, you guys. That's all I have on how to increase your vulnerability. And I hope this has really helped you, and I hope that these tips have helped you. And I love talking about vulnerability, obviously. But thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast, again with me, Sabrina. I appreciate you listening, downloading, and sharing the show. You guys are absolutely amazing. And again, check in the show notes below. You can find me on Instagram at Sabrina Joy Perozzo, or send me an email to realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com. How to spell those things is available in the show notes. Also, just great notes from the show for you to review or have. But until next time, have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.